up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast on the Foul Territory Network, going over the disappointing Philadelphia Phillies series. James had B's on the G, also known as boots on the ground, in enemy territory on the weekend, so he'll tell us about his experience, as well as the atmosphere over there. Citizens Bank Park, kind of a nice park. So we'll get into that,
Awesome.
Get into the series, and of course, we have to talk about the biggest news of all, Francisco Lindor. What's going on with him? Back injury. We don't know what's going on. I think regardless, it's not good. So there is a little bit of panic going on in the Mets world. I think it's rightfully so, but on the Lindor side, on the baseball side, we'll talk about that as we always do. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Mets'd podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video version of this. Shout out to everybody who watched the third episode last week. It did really well on YouTube. Appreciate it. Drop a like on the video too. It really does help us out. And if you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Overcast, whatever it is, drop us a rating, drop us a review. Apple, download. Everybody download. James, we just spent a full day watching football.
Yeah.
Both of
And
our teams
baseball.
were victorious, which was nice. Both of our teams were winners there. The Mets, though, not winners. Lost the series to the Phillies. How are we feeling?
I didn't even feel football today after the Mets lost that game. The Jets win did nothing for me after the Mets had already blown the game. I was like, actually, the Jets might have won before the Mets. No, the Mets lost before the Jets. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was horrible. This series was bad. There's bad vibes. We did the safe space tweet that we copied from Worldwide Waba Mets'd up, and everyone was very upset. Well, not everyone. 75% of you guys were really upset in our comments, thinking like the season's over, which. It isn't, but it could be. Like, I don't know. It's just this series is that moment where you're like, oh my God, like this. It feels like, and we've probably said this 2 or 3 times this year now, so maybe I'm just being a bullshitter, but it does feel like the magic has kind of finally actually begun to fade, and we found ways to lose games we thought we could have won, even just losing both of the games on Saturday and Sunday. Not being able to come out with one of those, having a 4-0 lead on Saturday, having the quick 1-0 lead that immediately evaporated on Sunday. It's just bad. You just found ways to lose games that should have been 50-50, even could have been better than 50-50, especially Saturday. And you're kind of stuck looking for answers now because you have to play this team again 4 times next weekend. So it's like if you can't beat them, you just can't move on after that.
Yeah, and you mentioned like maybe the magic is running out. It felt like that with Kodai Senga when we hit that little bit of a downtrend after Kodai Senga the injury, and it just seemed like the vibes were down a little bit. Everybody was so excited. He gets hurt, the vibes went down a little bit. It's also kind of feeling like that a little bit-ish with the Francisco Lindor news. I feel like the fact that Lindor was taken out early on the game on Friday, Mets were smoking the Phillies. That game was pure bliss. I was on cloud 9. I was having so much fun watching that game, just beating the piss out of Aaron Nola and that Phillies team. To then have Francisco Lindor leave in the 7th inning for an undisclosed injury at the time, we then find out it's lower back tightness or lower back soreness, I think is actually what they called it. Never a good thing. Never a good thing to hear a back injury.
Really
back
bad.
Injuries are not something that I feel like you just sleep and you go, I'll be better the next day. Like, if anybody's ever had a bad back, I feel like those are always the ones where it's like, this is going to take me some time. And, of course, the Mets gave him the day off on Saturday. Luisangel Acuna made his debut. We'll talk about him as well. Very impressed with what we saw thus far. But then he tried to run it back on Sunday. And he goes up for his first plate appearance, gets a hit because, of course, he does because he's the National League MVP. But that was also the mistake. He shouldn't have been out on the field the way he was running, the way he fielded a ground ball. I haven't seen someone look that uncomfortable since David Wright was trying to field ground balls when he was literally dead. Like, it was just like, it was bad. I don't think he should have been out there.
Truthfully, it makes me question what was going on pregame for them to be like, yeah, he was okay. And I'm sure most of that was him being like, I'm playing. And then like there was this also weird moment Sunday, early afternoon, morning where the Mets just didn't come out with a lineup until like 30 minutes before the game, 40 minutes before the game. So people were like, what's going on? Why is there no lineup? And then I think Tacoma or someone tweeted like the Mets are just letting Francisco Lindor go through like an extended warm up, see if he's okay. Like a lot of time in the cage. And I was thinking like, oh, that's not good. I don't want to take a lot of time in the cage if the back is sore already. And you could just see it, that swing, like you said, when he fielded that first ground ball. It's not good. And I think that Mets fans, we don't want to believe that something is wrong here. But if you have a back issue, this is not a 24-hour fix. It's not a 48-hour fix. Like you need a couple days off that back, especially as a shortstop and a hitter. Because again, he does both of those things. Like not all guys in the National League who are competing for the MVP. You use your back for everything. When you're hitting, you're rotating every single time. When you're fielding a ground ball. You got to bend over. You got to get down there. So it's just everything you do in a baseball field. You need your back. So for him to have a sore back, I don't know. I think as Mets fans, we were trying to will it so he would be okay and playing this weekend series because we know how important it is. But just didn't seem feasible. And I'm scared that this might have gotten significantly worse because he tried to push it now on Sunday.
Yeah, it's ironic that Lindor's back is bothering him because he's
He's
literally put the
carrying the
team
team.
he's carrying the team on his back all season long. He's been incredible. But it happened right probably on that weird not slide to second base on Friday night.
There was a report that came out. I forgot which beat writer said it, but apparently the back's been feeling a little iffy for a couple of weeks now, which
Okay.
usually is how these things go. And then when he did get hurt on Friday, that at bat, I think was that at bat or the one before, he fouled the ball off his foot.
Yes.
And then he was getting that, he put that ball in the gap and he was rounding first, coming into second. I think maybe that could be why he didn't want to slide feet first to put that foot into a base. And then it looked like he weirdly stepped on the base hard and it looked like his body kind of compacted briefly for a
Yeah.
second. And just felt like from that moment on, once he left that game, you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that literally could have possibly happened to this team. It just happened in front of our faces.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get over the doom porn here shortly because again, this is not normally the vibe that we have, but it is incredibly important that Francisco Lindor is on this team. Like without Francisco Lindor, the season's pretty much over. I think we can say that.
I mean, it's just by far the best player in the team. He's by far the most important. He's been by far the most reliable and consistent this season. It's like you put all of that together, and you could also just feel an emotional thing when he was pulled from the game on Saturday. It felt like there was a bit of a lull. Like I give a lot of
Yeah,
credit to David Peterson for keeping this team in the game as long as he did and pitching his fucking heart out because he just seems to do that basically every single time he pitches this season. But it just felt kind of palpable. It felt like the energy wasn't really there. And same when they even played on Saturday. I was so excited in the park on Saturday when they got a run the top of the first without Lindor. That was so incredibly important. It felt so vital, and they tacked more on after that. But then there's what is enough to sustain. That comes back to a lot of the guys not performing, but then also comes back to Cal fucking Stevenson going over the wall. Like there's a lot that goes into this, but it's just he is the heartbeat of this team. He's the lifeblood. He's the best player. There aren't even enough superlatives past that to even keep going. Without him, this gets really, really fucking hard.
yeah. And the report right now is he's going to be getting an MRI on Monday when they get back to New York. Hopefully, maybe sleeping on his own bed will do him some good. Maybe being back with the family. I'm just trying to think of anything. We've done episodes in the past to break bad juju, break bad luck, and get rid of the evil spirits. Somebody's got to put a spell on this guy and just give him like the elixir that's going to get him back to health because we need him so badly. Just again, even just from like the sheer perspective of something that Shohei Ohtani can't do, play shortstop. Just him playing shortstop every single day makes him one of the most valuable shortstops in the league. The fact that he's such a good hitter as well, it's vastly important to the success of this team.
But without a back, all those things are not really
Not
that
possible.
possible, and it's bad. And also, when Luisangel Acuna news happened on Friday night, we were having together, having some beverages, just playing some shuffleboard, rock-a-rolla. But it was seemed pretty obvious in the moment that was why that happened. And I tweeted the Windhorse meme because I was like, why would the Mets call up a middle infielder right now? And everyone's trying to pretend Lindor was okay. And was like, no, he wasn't in the lineup. Like, it's okay. He's going to be fine, whatever. And the next day, they're asking David Stearns, like, oh, why'd you call up Acuna? He was like, with the Lindor injury, we need the shortstop. So I was like, sometimes it's not that hard to figure out. Like, everyone wants to be Charlie. Everyone in the mailroom, Pepe Sylvia, everyone wants to put their tinfoil hat on, figure out why things are happening and why things are actually okay. But like, no, we're Mets are facing lefties the next 2 days. It's like, no, this is a fucking shortstop. We need a shortstop. This is very bad news.
Yeah, no, it was not great. Now, speaking of which, Luisangel Acuna, of course, did make his debut on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
played as well on Sunday. Looks like a nice little ball player. Looks like zesty Whit Merrifield. We've been saying it all year long. He put a couple balls to the warning track, right? Which, that's going to
Yeah.
happen. He's not the strongest of guys, but he is a good hitter. And he's doing the thing that he does, hitting singles. Like that's kind of just what Luisangel Acuna is going to give us right now. And again, James, what were we talking about while we were watching football? How old's Luisangel Acuna? What's his age range?
He's 22. He's a college senior.
Yeah.
Or he would have graduated in May, but he's the same age as Travis Bazzano, who was just taken first overall in the draft this past year. So he's young. He's a spring chicken. I got a great scouting report from my mom in the stands at
Oh,
Citizens Bank
okay.
Park. She went, wow, he's a little guy,
He is a little guy.
which is true. He is a little guy. She was like, where do I know that name from? I was like, his brother's in the Braves. She was like, oh, yeah, right. But that is Luisangel Acuna. MLB went hard with the content for him. They showed him walking into the park. I don't know how many other rookies making their debut they've showed walking into the park. They showed that they said that report that his brother Ronald called him before his debut. Like, no shit, you call your brother
Wow.
before his major league debut, but I guess that's a tweet that gets a lot of engagement. And
Yeah.
I want to give myself a little pat on the back because that scouting report I gave was pretty fucking spot on. Luisangel Acuna has put 4+. He's put 6 balls in play as a Major League Baseball player. 4 of them were hit hard, but none of them were hit really hard. They were all between 96 and 102 miles an hour. Couple singles up the middle. Pretty good hands at shortstop, an okay arm. I really wanted to try to see him steal a base, but there wasn't
Yeah.
the best opportunity for him to do it. There were a few on Saturday, but they didn't push the envelope with it. But this is Zesty Whit Merrifield. This is a good little ball player. He's going to put the bat on the ball. He's not going to take a walk. He's almost never going to do
No.
that. He's going to swing some bad pitches, but he laid off some nice ones on Saturday. I thought he actually had some very good at bats. He worked the counts a little bit, and he has very good bat control. Where if he gets that barrel on the ball, he's going to hit it decently hard. He's going to shoot it in every direction. He's not really good at pulling it either because with the bad pitch selection, it's kind of hard for him to like pull and drive a baseball, but. Yeah, He's not fucking replacing Francisco Lindor. But in terms of
No.
having like an emergency stopgap of like a really good athlete who is fun, it's not that it could be significantly worse.
Yeah, he very much looks like he belongs, at least in this
He's
very small
competent, yeah.
sample. He looks like a competent Major League Baseball player at the age of 22, something that I think a lot of people had questions about whether or not he was actually ready to be at the Major League level because of the mixed results at AAA. So happy to see Acuna's looks decent. Not happy for the reason why that he's up here, of course,
No,
but that seems like the guy we're going to see at least probably
this
play
week
shortstop for the rest of this series against the Nationals coming up.
I think. See, I'm a little bit doomer right now just because again it's a back injury. If anyone
Of
out there
course.
has had back
Well, I'm
injuries, I've
saying
had
I
some
think
back
at the
injuries.
minimum,
Yeah,
he's playing against the Nationals.
I think I'm almost at the point where I low key hope he does because I want it's like if you can win 2 out of 3 from the Nationals without Francisco Lindor, then just get Francisco Lindor back when we play these teams with teeth over the next few weeks because it's not getting easier. Like after the Nationals, it's 4 Phillies, 3 Braves, 3 Brewers. That fucking sucks.
Which also, this fucking schedule. I
Fuck
know
the schedule.
this is your thing, but this schedule is insane. I'm not going to take the rant here because that's your shine. But the fact that the Mets schedule looks like it does this last 2 weeks, I like playing the division guys late in the season. I think
Totally,
that's
a
great.
lot.
But you should be playing them throughout the entire
No,
season.
again, I say it all the time. It's the bastardization of this great game that we love. Because why do we not play the Phillies in American soil for 4 months, and then all of a sudden we have to play them 7 times in 10 days? That's not natural. It's not what's supposed to happen. All the pitching matchups that we just saw this weekend, we're going to see again. Everyone's going to see pitchers twice. That's not how baseball works. Not how it's supposed to work. It's ridiculous that over the last 3 months we couldn't find one series to sneak in between the Mets and the Phillies. It doesn't, and like the fact that now we have to do this home and home thing, and it also just sucks because they're so freaking good. And it
They
sucks
are
we have to
good.
play this good of a team to get this late in the year. I gotta give them some credit here, but it's just like, God damn it. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want them to see these guys twice. I don't want to see Luis Severino again. I don't want Bryce Harper saw Luis Severino 3 times, but the third time he was licking his fucking chops. Like, I don't want them to see these guys over and over again. It's just not, that's a hard thing to do, a hard thing to ask of a pitcher. Like, I guess that's going to help us. We get to see these guys again, but it's so bizarre and so weird and so annoying. We just got all of these games like truncated into the end of the season and the beginning of the season because we had played the 2 series against them early, and now we're playing 2 series against them late. London in the middle. And it's like why is this happening? Like, why is Major League Baseball's code so stupid with this? Like, why do we keep playing these teams over and over again? The Diamondbacks haven't played the Brewers all year until this weekend, and now they're playing them again 6 times in like 10 days too. Like, why is this happen for so many different teams all the time?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful. I mean, you could find someone to code this better. I think we might try. I think we might this offseason see if we can make our own schedule and see if we can do a better job than what the coding and department or whatever is doing over at Major League Baseball. Because the schedule, this is something that you've been yelling about for years, and I know now with interleague play, like things get a little more difficult. But the fact that again, 7 of the
10.
14 or how many games do you play against the Phillies in a full year?
2 series each side. So generally that's
13, 14 games, whatever it
yeah.
is, that half of those games are being played in a 2-week stretch. Not even a 2-week stretch, in a 1-week stretch.
10
Essentially.
days, 7 and
Yeah.
10 days.
It's ridiculous.
If you live in an urban metropolitan area, you could throw a baseball out your window and hit someone who can code this schedule probably better than whoever coded it for the last couple of years.
Let's talk a little bit more about the series. Pitching side, it was a little bit weird because again, Diaz blew the game, bullpen blew the game against them in game 2. But like overall, I wasn't frustrated with how the pitching went. Like the starting pitching was good. The starting pitching department was great.
I was pretty frustrated in 2 instances where how long Carlos Mendoza left both Luis Severino and David Peterson in this game. Both of those pissed me off.
Getting a little cute. Definitely getting a little cute here, which don't love that late in the season. I know on Saturday, I think they were talking about how the Mets as a whole, as an organization, feel like they've found a bit of an inefficiency in Major League Baseball where they feel they can actually push these pitchers further. It'll keep them healthier. It'll keep them sharper rather than when a lot of teams are pulling these guys a lot earlier, which I don't know. I trust the nerds who are coming up with this stuff, but in this scenario against the Phillies, who are a really good hitting team, little Monday morning quarterback, but hey, maybe we just play the game that way it's been played the last 100 years.
Yeah, I don't think when you get into these like short-term decision making in the end of the year where every single out and every single game is super important, you could be thinking about long-term health and
Correct.
trusting this process that we've been using for months on end. I think this is how a lot of teams get in trouble in the playoffs, where they kind of build a team and build a strategy and build a mindset for a 162 game regular season with a monster sample size. But now it's just like the next four pitches are the most important thing in the world. I think a lot of managers I've seen this weekend have really been good with just quick hooks on guys because every single game is important. Ben Lively today for the Guardians, he cruised through 5 innings against the Rays. I have the stats over here because I wrote it up for Roto World, but it was pretty funny. So Ben Lively had retired 11 in a row going into the 6th inning of this game. He gave up 2 singles to start the inning in a game where he had only given up two base runners at that point on and no runners scoring position. He got taken out immediately for Cade Smith, who was the Guardians' top fireman in a 2-0 game. So again, like that's just like you have to do it. You have to do it. This is a game we have to win, so we have to act like we have to win it. And on Saturday, when Bryce Harper came to the plate for the 3rd time, as a left-handed batter, having just hit a home run with a man on base, Carlos Mendoza seemed like he was managing just for the vibes rather than for the situation because it seemed so painfully obvious at that moment, the way the momentum of that game was going, that Luis Severino wasn't going to get him out. Luis Severino didn't have a great feel of his changeup as that game progressed. While he did have a really good game, the sweeper was amazing. We know the sweeper is not really effective against lefties. It just isn't. And Severino was throwing sinker sweeper a lot in this game. It was most of his pitches. He only wound up throwing 5 changeups with 4 colors in total. But a lot of forcing fastballs. The fastball was great. And the fastball is great even individually. Now that bat to Harper, which makes it even more frustrating. But in that moment, after Harper had just homered off him on a great piece of hitting on a pitch that was outside. I was in the ballpark, so I'm gonna find out what that pitch was that he hit the first homer on, because it looked just like the home run that he hit off of. I think it was Rob. I don't remember which Padres reliever it was in the NLCS 2 years ago, where it was a low and outside pitch and he just went with it the other way, and it was a changeup that had a little too much plate. Got on Savant just now, and it was like, oh, Bryce Harper's so fucking good. And you know what made it worse? That was Bryce Harper's first home run in 6 weeks.
I know.
Horrible. And then
Saw my fantasy team kill me in the playoffs.
And then he comes up again, and it's like, okay, there's a man on base. Severino just walked Trey Turner. And now Bryce Harper's up. He just hit a home run. Severino does not have a really deep bag against lefties. This is a tense moment in the game. We're winning 4-1. This could make this a real game and get the crowd back into it. And the part that's the most frustrating for me by far is that Danny Young comes in the next inning.
So I'm going to tell you, I think, why Mendoza did it. I don't necessarily think it's the right decision, but I think I can rationalize why. So it was the 6th inning when Harper hit that second home run against Severino. That means he's going to get up in the 9th inning, guaranteed to get at least one more at bat in this game. At that moment, Bryce Harper could not beat you. He can make the game closer, but he could not physically take the lead or even tie the game. So I think he was saying, we're going to go Severino here, trying to be cute because they know Harper has one more time, and Danny Young is our left-handed guy right now, so he knows, what are we going to do for Harper if he comes up this time? I don't think that's the right decision, but I think that was the thought process, along with the fact that if for some reason Danny Young doesn't get Bryce Harper out, it's now first and second, Nick Castellanos up, who crushes left-handed pitching. That's something he does for his entire career. So I think that was the reasoning behind it. I don't agree with it, though, because, again, you got to get the outs in front of you first. Even Ron and Keith and Gary in the booth were talking about how, one, that walk to Trey Turner can't happen. You have to attack
that was the problem, yeah.
Can't put him on base. That was the big problem. And then 2, they were like, this is why you can't put him on base, because Bryce Harper's coming up against the right-handed pitcher, and he's just better.
But to that, I'm going to completely take down everything you just said in 1 second. At that point in the game, Bryce Harper had one of the Phillies' 2 hits, and it was a home run.
For sure.
So he was the only guy that was getting Severino.
The things I said are objectively true, though.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Totally. But like in your head, you have to think there's one guy in this lineup beating me right now. I can't let him do that. And then also to kill that Danny Young point, he started the next inning clean. JT Realmuto came up second and laced a hit. And then I think he actually blooped that one. He laced the one later. But it's like, if you're comfortable with Danny Young facing JT Realmuto, who crushes lefties, you're that uncomfortable with him facing Nick Castellanos, just so you can actually. And then also the third point about that, okay, we don't want to burn Danny Young because he's our best lefty to face Bryce Harper in the 6th. Fucking have Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz can't get lefties out. He can get lefties out. He should be able to get lefties out. We saw on Sunday that it's maybe not the wasn't lefties, but whatever.
But I think that's what it was. I think he was trying to get too cute, and for the
logic, none of this logic was sound. And also, why the fuck with the rested bullpen? Why is Danny Young just getting a clean shot to 7th inning?
Yeah, I don't know
why
about that either.
The fuck was that happening? Like, there's too many good lefties in this lineup that you're just letting Danny Young pitch a clean inning. Like, you need Danny Young. Danny Young's on this team 70% of the reason to get Bryce Harper out. Truthfully.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
there's
he is. And
almost
Danny
no
Young's been awesome.
left-handed hitters either in this division.
I don't want to take anything away from Danny Young because he's been so great this year. And the 2 hits he gave up in that inning to spur the way the Phillies took the lead were both just dinky little bloops. Like, it was bullshit. But that just happens. It's baseball. But the fact that you trust Danny Young enough to pitch a clean seventh inning, but you didn't want to push him against Bryce Harper. And again, this is the feel thing that Mendoza has done so well this year, but I think he missed it in this instance. The feel of that moment was that Luis Severino is an empty bag against left-handed hitters right now, and Bryce Harper just hit a home run off him on like not even objectively that bad of a pitch. And then you get to the two-strike approach right there, and you throw him a sweeper in the zone. Like,
Yeah,
what the
bad.
fuck was going to happen there? It's like every single thing, bang, bang, bang. Every single decision was wrong. Every single thing went wrong. And that spawned what would happen later on, ruin this game for us.
Yeah, Cal Stevenson double.
Fuck Cal Stevenson.
Cal Stevenson, for those of you who are new, maybe you're new here, maybe you're old. We haven't been able to do this in quite some time. We are now putting the crown on a new rat fuck. Cal Stevenson is officially a rat fuck.
Cal Stevenson, I will remember for the rest of my life. I went to the Cal Stevenson game. The fact that he hits the double off of Reed Garrett, and again, not even objectively that bad of a pitch. It really
Were,
wasn't.
were you at the Ender and Ciarte game too?
I wasn't. I was in Ohio for that one.
Okay,
But
okay. I was
for
gonna
new
say,
listeners, at the Ender and Ciarte game, this though made me feel like that because that in 2016 also felt like a dagger, and it wound up not being a dagger. And it was the
yes.
same time of year. It was middle of September. But I remember I was back in my college house, and at that point, my roommate who was not into sports at all, he would kind of vacate a little bit with this when the Mets were getting hot. So he knew I was just insane. Not an aggressive guy ever. I slammed my fist down on my coffee table when Ender Inciarte made that catch off the UNSS with his home run that would have been the ninth inning of that game against the Braves. I left a hole in my IKEA coffee table that would remain until I moved out of the apartment. But
Yes.
this felt like that because, well, it was different than Inciarte because Ender Inciarte could never get a hit ever in his life, really. But Cal Stevenson laces a double on, I think it was a splitter from Reed Garrett down the line, the two-strike pitch as the 9-hitter.
Not even a bad pitch.
It wasn't a
Not
bad
even a
pitch.
bad pitch.
And Garrett did say, like, I just have to make a better pitch, but it wasn't a bad pitch. But he still has to make a better pitch. You have to get the 9-hitter out in the situation. And he got tough to get that spot. And I do want to shout out Rob Thompson for a second for bunting with Brandon Marsh to set up the 8th and 9 hitters because that legitimately almost fucking saved us. And the fact that it worked makes me feel so gross and disgusting inside that his last good hitter in the lineup bunted to set up his 8 and 9 hitters. And he fucking got away with it. And God damn it. I was getting heckled so bad in my section of Great American Citizens Bank Park. And I'll tell you guys about the stadium now just because I was pretty vivacious early in the game, as we should have been. We're winning 4-0 in the third inning. And we did leave some runs on the board, too. I got to say that Francisco Alvarez struck out the man on third. I felt like I was going to come back to bite us in the ass. Did come back and bite us in the ass. But, yeah, I was getting in people's face. I was heckling. I was having a good time. The Philly people, I did meet some good Philly people who really like to talk ball. I also talked to some other Philly people that were animal, as we like to say on here.
Nice.
These were some vulgar, horrible people. There was a woman in the aisle who was talking shit to my mom forever, the whole game.
Really?
Just nonstop shit talking. My sweet mother. My sweet mother. Horrible. What a horrible woman it was. Just continuously berating her. And then there was one guy who every time they did the run, he'd just look at me and go, ah. And I was like, and there's a Philly fan who called me out, knew who I was. He was like, James, Mets'd up. Fuck you. I was like, okay. Oh, this fucking sucks. But such a great ballpark.
It is a great ballpark.
They're so efficient with their parking. It makes me really jealous of their on and off on the highway and the parking. There's so many just satellite parking lots. They're just $20 cash. You go in and out. Such a nice thing because it's in the fields. Cash.
Wow, cash is king.
Well, some not, but like when you get stuck in the Citi Field parking lot, you guys know you're in there for an hour and a half because I don't know who decided there should be 3 exits of that whole fucking thing.
3 exits that are just
30,000 people.
Yeah,
one lane, and then everyone's just fighting with each other to get cut into each other because everyone's from New York, so everyone's a lunatic. Also, I think it's so underrated how easy it is for Mets fans to get to Citizens Bank Park.
Incredibly.
Especially us Mets fans in New Jersey. Like I don't think we realize that if you're from New Jersey, getting to a Mets game is like it's a battle. Like you have to go through the stage Dante's Inferno, the stages of hell to get there. And it's truthfully, I think it's quicker. If you live in New Jersey, I think it's quicker to get to Philadelphia than to Queens. I'm not even fucking kidding.
I disagree. I will say this. You do overhype sometimes the New Jersey to Queens commute.
Dude, it's so because you've never had
what
a
time
job.
Are you guys leaving though?
So you've never yes, you don't have a job. You've never had to leave like at 5:15.
That's true. I do 4:30, 4 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but even 4 o'clock gets bad. But like even on a Saturday morning, trying to get through the GW, it's hell. It's hell on earth, and people know this. So I think, and it's cool to be in a ballpark. It's actually sold out because again, for most Mets fans, it's really hard to get to Citi Field.
Yeah.
So I just think that cuts away from what crowds could be for a lot of big games. Where Citizens Bank, they're popping every single game. Like it was $100 resale ticket to get into this game.
People in New York got important things to do. People in Philly got nothing to do.
Nothing to do. Absolutely nothing to do. I was so excited to leave that hell pit of a city that I do love. I love that it's a hell pit.
But
I have friends there.
I see it though. I see it. It's starting to happen. I'm
I
seeing a
was so
change in you, James.
I was so pissed off. Well, also the first thing I did when I got to Philly, I had to go to the bathroom. Went to a gas station. The guy told me no bathroom allowed. I was like, "Fuck
Oh,
you, dude."
my move is like, so you don't go to the bathroom all day. You
That's
don't
what I told
ever
him. I
go
was
to
like,
the bathroom.
I was like, oh, where'd you go? I was like, where'd you go? He's like, not
Yeah.
for customers. I was like, you're an ass. I know that I was about to buy a drink. I put it back.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not giving you my
My
money
guy.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, James, you wanted to calm down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you riled up a little bit more.
Okay.
David Peterson coming out for the eighth as well.
Another one pissed me off. I mean,
Yeah.
he was cruising so hard, but it was also a situation where he'd
It
given
was the
up.
David Peterson cruise, though. Like,
Yeah, like he'd given up 14 hard hit balls. He was missing a lot of the bats too. And I think David Peterson it was such a good game plan. He pitched really well. The fastballs were high, the slides and changes were low, the sinkers were in on the lefties. Like it was a really good pitch game by David Peterson. And we are nowhere this season without David Peterson. I will not take anything away from him. And he's a warrior and he's a dog. He's a
we
workhorse
love him.
for coming out for that eighth inning. But I just don't think that was the moment for him to come out and pitch the eighth inning of a game. Because again, the bullpen was relatively rested. The day before, we used Danny Young and Ryan Stanek. Like why?
Yeah.
And
Alex Young.
Alex Young, my bad. Stanek and we use Reed Garrett. But like, what happened to Jose Budo? Like, he's not coming out anymore. Like, what's going on? And like, Maton comes in to clean up the mess. Why did Maton just start the fucking inning? I
Yep.
don't know. It was pissing me off that happened. And it's not that bad. I really think it wasn't. But I think sometimes that managers and fans and people, we get obsessed with the 100 pitch number. They're like,
Yes.
oh, you can keep pitching if you haven't thrown 100 pitches yet.
Fakest number in the world.
Yeah, not really. I don't know. And like he got through the most frustrating part is he got through the meat of the order third time through. And then it never fucking ends. Weston Wilson and Buddy fucking Kennedy. Like what the fuck is going on? These are
Fake
Weston Wilson's
names.
he's been awesome this year. He really has. This was a month anniversary of his cycle, which is really impressive. Weston
Insane.
Wilson,
Yeah.
legend, 30-year-old rookie. But I'm just like, I guess we're in a spot here where like we're lucky that the bullpen's been rested for a couple of days now. This is when you go guys, burn guys, go. Anything you can do. Again, watching other games weekend, managers around the league are managing these games like it's the playoffs right now. And the Mets should be managing. Mendoza should be managing these games like this. And it just felt like these last 2 days he didn't. He was trying to stretch the starters, which again, I think he's worried about the 7 games coming up in a row now after
Yes, definitely.
the 10 games in 10 days. I think that was in his own head. I think that's a massive mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely cost us.
You got me hot again. I cooled off and you got me hot
I
again.
know it cost us on Sunday for sure. Also, we just got to score a little bit more too. Christopher Sanchez pitched a hell of a game. He's a good pitcher, but it's also the weird thing of like you score 1 run, tough to win.
No, it is, and that's a big problem, especially scoring that run in the 8th inning. Again, similar. I don't think he should have came out for that inning either. The Mets
No, of
probably
course
weren't
not,
scoring, and we're swinging missing a lot. I think we had like 11 hard hit balls. Like we were putting the bat on the ball, especially again, people were shit talking Pete still. Pete had that single in the top of the 9th that really, or maybe that was still the 8th. No, it was the 9th. I don't remember actually. I don't know which one. It really should have driven Harrison Bader home from second base, and Bryce Harper just barely got a glove on it. And I still thought it might have not been the worst thing in the world the way Nim was swinging the bat for Bader to push the envelope and dare, who was playing second base at that time. I think that was Buddy Kennedy. Dare Buddy Kennedy to make a perfect throw to get you at home. Just turn that corner and just fucking go. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was third base coach. I don't know, but just we both of these games, it felt like we set the Phillies up to come back on us and take the lead, and that's just kind of what happened.
Yeah, and that's what kind of happened. And I think a lot of people are doom, and I think if you're on the Lindor injury doom, I think that's fair. But at the end of the day, like I mean, there's some comments. We put out a tweet over on our Twitter at Mets'd. Mets fans, this is a safe space. Blew 2 leads. Lindor is out. Let it all out. How are we feeling? And there are some really funny responses. There are some good ones. We're going to give a couple shout outs to a few of them here. There was a guy named Gil Griffin. Good name.
Good name.
Good alliteration from Gil Griffin there. But he was just saying the problem, the way that he's feeling, that we never ever rise to the occasion. I had a bad feeling yesterday as early as Harper's first home run. And I got an even worse feeling after Tyrone Taylor homered for us today, which I don't know how you get a worse feeling when the guy hit a home run. That's bad juju. With the exception of 2015, we have failed miserably in the regular season to win when it matters most. First off, a lot of those teams have been really bad. It's not have been uncompetitive teams. So it's not like they failed to win when it matters most. Season was over for day one and when Mickey Callaway was managing most of these teams.
But that happened in 2022. That was real in 2022.
2022 was real.
We shit the bed. We needed to win literally one more game. We just couldn't fucking do it. We couldn't pull it out of it. But that team just by that time that Braves series happened, those vibes are horrific. But I still haven't gotten that feeling from this team really.
Up until this point, again, the first 2 months bad, and that's why every game matters. And you can't say games in April and May don't matter as much as they do in September and October.
One more win.
The Mets, one more win. Things look differently. But the Mets have the best record in baseball since June. So
Dodgers tied the game.
Nice. Good interruption there. It's had the best record in baseball in June. They've been playing good teams. They've been beating them. They had huge wins in Arizona. They had huge wins against the Reds. They had a miracle win against the Blue Jays. Like, this
Yeah.
team has stepped up. So I think the narrative that this team doesn't step up when they need them the most, sometimes you lose to a better team. The Phillies are better than the Mets. That's an undeniable truth.
No, undeniable truth. This is a great roster. And again, you could feel it this series because when these guys, the bottom of the order, get hits, you're like, oh my God, I have to face Schwarber,
Yep.
Turner, Harper right now. You're like, this sucks. And then
And it's
you,
kind of like when we had like Bader and Alvarez getting hot, when those guys were hot in Texas and the Rangers, all of a
yeah,
sudden you're like, shit, now I got to pitch to Lindor and Nimmo and Alonso and JD
yeah, when they
Martinez.
were
Like,
going.
yeah, when they were going. These are things that happen. It's not like, again, Cal Stevenson's a rat. We know that. Weston Wilson, Buddy
Oh,
Kennedy, these guys suck. But they are still major league players, so they're going to get hits at times.
of
And
course.
that's what makes it so dangerous when they do get those hits because of this lineup.
The thing that made me want to gouge out my own eyes and scream into the night, the void, was Taiwan Walker.
Yeah.
Because we put Kobe Allard on the ropes. We did a great job, great approach against Kobe Allard, who's not a strike thrower, who doesn't have any good stuff. He's just a junky lefty. We got him out by the third inning. And Taiwan Walker, who we know well, who statistically right now, I'm not being hyperbolic like I often am, might be the worst pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
He's horrifically bad. And he came in and we laced balls left and right. We had 3 hits and we couldn't fucking score a run. And as this was happening, the momentum in that ballpark was growing. People were starting to get hope. Harper hit the first home run. But then you also know that this Phillies team, and I mentioned it with Ruben Amaro last week, this bullpen is not a fucking joke. This is probably right now, pound for pound, the best bullpen in baseball. And you guys could feel Orion Kerkering, Jeff Hoffman, and Carlos Estevez come into this game, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? We didn't even sniff. Luisangel Acuna is the only guy to get hit off those 3 guys in this series. Actually, we might got a hit off Kerkering.
It's kind of funny. Go figure that Acuna
Luis,
gets those hits.
who someone else got a hit off Kerkering on Sunday. I forgot who it was. Actually, it might have been the Pete hit. But great. Yeah, great. Cool. That was good. But you have to get hits off Taiwan Walker, who fucking sucks, because they have these mutants to come in afterwards. And when they made the game close enough, we're like, we're going to use these guys. Also, credit for Rob Thompson for pushing the envelope. I'm using my 18 bullpen when I'm losing because I think we're going to take this lead.
Yes.
That's a dog move. That's why he's a great manager. I think that's a feel that Carlos Mendoza lost this series. He didn't do that at enough
Didn't
times.
go for the kill.
He didn't go for the kill. He tried to survive he tried to survive instead of win. I think that you tried to not lose instead of win. I think that wound up being the big mistake. But the bats just fucking have to be better. Mark Fiento, since the 2 home run game, is lost. I think he's 1 for 23. He had a golden sombrero on Sunday. Pete got his 2 hits.
He's been swinging at like sliders that are never strikes, like not even close to the zone.
Yeah, JJ Martinez too. Like that's just I don't even want to talk about JJ Martinez because he hasn't been swinging well. But I got the tweet from Tacoma here because it shook me to my core. You guys will love this one. I'm scrolling again. So this is after his second at bat on Sunday. After the ball got fielded at the warning track on Christopher Sanchez deep fly. I think Pete was on second. The last 3 balls JD Martinez has put in play have traveled a combined 1,185 feet. So just a hair under 400 feet per ball in play. All with exit velocities of 101 miles an hour or harder. None of them resulted in hits. And the Cal Stevenson one on Saturday was the backbreaker because if he hits that home run and we tie the game right after the Harper home run, everything fucking changes. You
so much.
Suck the air out of that place. You're all back. You're back on vibe. You're feeling yourself. And it all dies in that second. And then also, big problem is all this compounding shit with Lindor and everything. If you're able to just find a way to step on the throat and win the game on Saturday, you might not push him on Sunday. You really might not, because this became a little bit more of a must-win kind of feel when you blew the game Saturday. So maybe it's just like he has the day, we have the series, we're playing with house money on Sunday. Let's just get through it and get past it. And then it doesn't happen, and now this could be a disaster.
Yeah, it could be a disaster, and I guess we will see. Everything kind of, again, really relies on this MRI by Francisco Lindor. That is going to really determine how my mental health is over the next day, honestly. Until that news comes out, I'm on pins and needles.
I might just sleep until it happens because I'm so tired. It's been a long weekend. We're going to be up late.
Wake me up when the MRI ends.
Wake me up when the MRI ends. Shout out Green Day. Is there anything else we missed from this series that we should talk about? We got Cal Stevenson. We hate the Phillies. Give a lot of credit to Bryce Harper. Dave Peterson was really good. He was really good. I don't want just because he gave up that run in the 8th inning, I'm not taking away from how fucking awesome the start was. The Mets needed him to go out and shove, and he did literally exactly that.
Quick little media marvel before we get going into the National Series. Now, this media marvel didn't necessarily happen on this series, but
wait, I got something else. I got to remember something. I don't want to fully flush that we had a really good game on Friday. We beat the piss out of this Phillies team. Francisco Alvarez, especially the 3-run home run that he hit off of Nola, then Nimmo hit his 2. But Alvarez does feel like he's swinging the bat better. He's hitting the ball
Yes.
much harder, more consistently. That was his second 3-run home run, 3 at bats. He also, I liked on Saturday a lot. The Phillies kept pitching him outside, especially Kobe Allard with changeups, lefty changeup versus the righty, and he didn't get great with on them, but he continuously went the other way with them. He did that strikeout that blew that run, but can't take away how well this team hit on Friday. We might have just used up all of our runs.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does feel like that. And
Yeah.
again, this will now build into the quick
And
little
also,
media.
again, shout out Tyrone Taylor. That was a huge home run. He's had a great season. He's been a great little player.
Good
Amazing
ball
pickup by
player.
David Stearns. He's exactly what you want from a fourth outfielder. And we said this to you guys in fucking February. And we
Yep.
said it again in April, and it's been true all season. So shout out Tyrone Taylor, my favorite, my Morning Jacket song, Tyrone.
Yeah, Tyrone. All right. So back to the media marvel. Quick little thing. It happened on the Francisco Lindor home run game against the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
People are starting to turn on
Who?
and
Make sure you bleep it.
okay, I'll bleep it. I'll maybe I'll include just like a little bit in case they don't. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We
They'll
know.
who it is. They know who it is. But yeah, starting to turn on him a little bit, which is, I guess, refreshing. And if for those of you who don't know, that said character when Francisco Lindor hit that home run against the Blue Jays, Barstool, as you know, I'm not going to bleep that. People know them.
Yeah.
Barstool will do live streams. They'll do watch-alongs. They'll film guys when they're reacting to games and stuff, always making content. And said individual had zero reaction to the Francisco Lindor, maybe biggest home run of the entire season, maybe saving the season. No reaction. In fact, it honestly looked like he was a little upset because now he wasn't going to be able to make one of his rant videos where he chews through his T-shirt.
Get out! Bang! That's my MVP! That's my MVP! Let's go, Frank! Captain! Let's go! Let's go! Back! Season's back! Yeah. We're back! We're back! We're so back, baby! We knew it, Cody! We're back, Frank! The Mets smile! Delete that tweet, Frank! He's retyping it! He's retyping his tweet! Revise.
And now you're starting to see, because after these Phillies games, of course, he went ballistic and he went crazy. And we're not going to pipe in that because you can go find that yourself if you want to.
Fuck no.
I would suggest you don't. It's bad
Hope you
content.
don't.
But I'm starting to see some people in the Mets community that I don't want to say egged him on or encouraged his behavior, starting to turn on him a little bit. And I think that's good vibes for the Mets going forward.
Yeah, it's just better to get these toxic people out of your life in general, especially out of the Mets fandom. And it's nice to see that people who used to be with him are now realizing that everything he does is an act. He's a fake fan. He's not someone that should be platformed. It's almost like sad the way he acts. It's like it's true mental illness. I feel bad for him at times. Again, I think his life's probably gotten better from this rush of fame, but also it's just he's literally standing on stage and being laughed at. And I don't think he realizes half the time, but it's just a shame that someone who claims to be this massive Mets fan, someone that people outside the Mets community see as the Mets fan, like the quintessential most famous Mets fan. And he's someone who at the Mets, the most important regular season ball and play I can remember since the Conforto double in 2015, I want to say, truthfully.
Asdrubal Cabrera's home run against Edward Ramos was a
that's
big
true.
one.
Yeah, 2016. The most quintessential important ball the Mets have put in play in the regular season in 8 years, basically in a decade. This person was upset about it. So that gives you all you need to know. Happy that video went viral and happy that we're on the path to getting this horrible person out of our lives.
Yeah, no, and that's the media marvel. All right, let's talk about this national series. The boys are back in New York City. Me and James will be attending at least one of these games. We're still
possibly three.
Still up in the air about what the decision making is going to be behind which games and what we're going to.
Yeah. Also, a little sick, so I don't know how many nights I'm going to be there, but I might just, if I wake up tomorrow and I feel great, it's a guaranteed 2.
Warrior, you're a warrior. That's all I'm hearing.
Professional podcaster. That's it. You got to do what you got to do. I wake up every morning, I put on my boots, and I go to work for you guys. But we got some pitching matchups this series. The Mets shuffled the rotation a little bit. So now Manaea is going to pitch on Monday against Jake Irvin. Tyler McGill against Mitchell Parker ace off on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday is a night game. I thought it was a day game. It's a night game.
So I thought it was a day game.
I definitely can't go Wednesday anymore, but that's going to be Jose Quintana versus DJ Hurts. So in this series, 6 pitchers, 4 lefties.
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes. Listen, this national team looks a little bit differently from the last time that we faced them, of course, because
they're pesky.
They've made some moves. Me and James have been hip to the Nationals for a minute now. They're still not great. 67
they can play ball,
81, but they can play ball. This is a team that can be annoying, specifically because of their young core that they're building up right now. I'm going to give flowers to Luis Garcia Jr. He's having having a phenomenal year. 281 average.
To start there is psychotic.
No, but that's where I'm starting. That's
Okay.
I said I'm starting there.
That's
Listen
insane.
here, guy who's like, let me tell you about this reliever who's going to throw one pitch. All right, I don't want you to. This is my boy Luis Garcia. I love him as a player,
He is
and it's
great.
finally coming through. Saw him play once, and I was like, this guy's a ball player. But he's having a great year.
Believe
760
believe in New
OPS.
York native, I want to say.
Yes, he's from New York City.
Mhm.
Born and raised here. CJ Abrams, also fantastic. You guys know about him. He has cooled off a little bit, and he is a dog shit defender at shortstop.
He was injured. He missed the game on Sunday. So
Oh, okay.
up in the air if he's going to play or not.
But the big names to talk about here, James Wood, who we saw, he's been really good. Just a freak athlete, crazy power out of him. And they also called up the number 2 overall pick behind Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz. And while he hasn't been phenomenal, you can see the flashes of a good baseball player.
Dylan Cruz definitely is what we call a fun little ball player. He had a moment. They put him lead off the last few games. He had a moment on the game on Friday night where he reached in the first inning on an infield single. He then stole second, and then he stole third, and then he scored on an error. He literally manufactured a run himself, and that was in a game where Edward Cabrera had pitched possibly the best game of his career, and the Nationals had, I think, 2 base runners the rest of the game after Dylan Cruz came around to score for the infield single and 2 stolen bases. So he's a guy who's doing a lot of things well. He's playing pretty good defense in the outfield too. He's someone I didn't really love tremendously as a prospect. And again, he's not hitting super well, but he's making a lot of things happen. But the true story, the prize jewel of this team, the prize jewel is going to be probably a baseball very soon, is James Wood.
Yeah.
James Wood right now has all the makings of someone who's going to become an
Generational.
unquestioned superstar to the highest degree. The things he's doing right now without even really playing baseball well is astounding. He's 21 years old. He's actually going to have his 22nd birthday during the series on Tuesday night.
That.
So, yeah, not good. I don't want James Wood's birthday there.
That's
Also
bet if you're a hater.
it's also a college age senior. So it's just to get put in perspective how fucking good this guy is. In 66 games this year as a 21-year-old, he's hitting 273 with 364 on base, a 429 on base percentage, and he has 7 homers and 12 steals. And those 7 homers and 12 steals get even more impressive when you figure out that he has only pulled 2 fly balls as a professional hitter, 2 fly balls on Sunday in his 2-homer game. Both of his homers were hit to left center field. Both of them traveled at least 426 feet. He is stupid strong for a 21-year-old. And the 12 steals, he's got caught stealing 7 times. The dude literally doesn't even fucking know what he's doing yet. He's already like a scary good baseball player who's hitting second every single day for a national team. That really isn't that fucking bad.
No, they're not that bad, but they're also not good. We
True.
should beat them. We need to beat them. No excuse to not win the series. Would really love to sweep them like desperately badly.
Yeah, Jake Irvin, the last time you guys saw Jake Irvin, you remember he shut us down the 4th of July. Since that happened, Jake Irvin has not pitched very well at all. He's become very homer happy. This is a guy that he's curveball over and over again. The league figured that one out. Now he's been back to his fastballs more so. His start on not Friday, I think it was probably last Wednesday. I think it was his first start since middle of July where he threw more fastballs than curveballs. I was like, oh, was fastball something else? I had my real world update. I'm sick. I'm so tired right now. But you got to hunt that curveball and try and get one out. Mitchell Parker is a kitchen sink guy. That's all I'm going to say. DJ Hurst, though, has been awesome.
Pretty good.
They pulled him last year for a rental of Heimer Candelario at the deadline from the Cubs. He's been fucking awesome. Yeah, Jeimer Candelario. He's got a good fastball, good changeup, good slider. He mixes them all really well. He's a very fun little pitcher. Someone who's been pitching basically the best ball for them in their entire rotation over the last month and a half.
And he looks like the dude from Breaking Bad.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Yes, that's his name. Jesse Plemons. Yeah, I mean,
Plemons, yeah.
Listen, the Mets with Francisco Lindor out, they need someone else to step up. Someone has to step up. Pete, Nimmo.
Braves have second and third, nobody out in the 8th. Why do all these teams conspire against the Mets?
Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers so much. I can't wait to see them get swept in the NLDS again. It's gonna be great.
The Giants, Hilly Ramos hits a huge home run on Sunday on Roberto Clemente Day. Shout out Roberto Clemente Day across the league. Roberto Clemente is a legend, one of the most talented baseball players that ever played. Amazing guy, amazing ball player. Just great that he's being honored. I saw the Mets Edwin Diaz wearing number 21, which was sad because he blew the game wearing number 21, which was a shame. But Hilly Ramos hits the first ever right-handed home runs in McCovey Cove as 21st home run of the year on Roberto Clemente Day, which was cool. And then the Giants find a way to blow the game in the 10th inning. The Brewers have a huge lead on the Diamondbacks, completely fall apart. And now, of course, the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, invisible in a big game, can't beat the Braves. He's about to get swept by the Braves.
I mean, he's only played in one big game ever, and that was for Team Japan.
Do we get out of it? Dodgers got out of it.
All right, I take it back.
We're back. Dodgers got out of it.
Dodgers are back. I hope they do as well as they can, as long as we make the playoffs, and then we beat them.
Michael Kopech, back-to-back strikeouts of Orlando Arcia, Jared Kelenic got out of it. Yes.
Oh, he got Kelenic out too. Great, nice.
Yeah, and can I shout out one nonsense reliever from the?
Of course, I started with Luis Garcia Jr. Who would I be to say no?
So, This year, Kyle Finnegan's been awesome for the Nationals. He's ascended being one of their best relievers, but they have a new setup man, a
No.
lefty. I told Mark about this guy when we were watching football on Sunday. So we're watching football, and I'm like, Mark, you hear about this new lefty reliever on the Nationals? He's like, shut the fuck up. Jose Ferrer, 24 years old. He came up last year. He was wild. He gave up a lot of runs. 99-mile-an-hour demon sinkers, nasty changeup, mixing the four-seamer against the lefties. The guy is freakishly good. The stuff's crazy. He's now become their pure setup man. The sinker is new. It came in this year, didn't have it last year. Nationals might be cooking a little bit finally for the first time ever. The changeup's also super gross. He goes from 99 to 88 with that changeup. The changeup's a 42% whiff rate in the year. He's gross.
Dude, shout out to Nationals. They did some crazy stuff with him this year. He pitched 3 innings in rookie ball, 5 innings in Double-A, and they said, majors. Go to the majors.
Must have had injury then.
He pitched 40 innings in Triple-A the year prior, and
he got a few innings in the majors last year for sure.
Yes,
so he got 34 innings in the majors last year.
Where was he last year? We just didn't even know him.
Yeah, I mean he was not very good. He was all over the place.
Jose Ferrer.
Yeah, demon sinkers, 99 miles an hour, tons of ground balls. He's not allowed to barrel so far this season.
All right, well, hopefully he allows one this series going up against the Mets. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. We have Frankie Peppers, though. So let's see what our boys got to say before we get going. I know he was stewing up a bolognese, and it unfortunately did not come through for us. But
he tried. Frankie did his part to try and make this happen. So
every bit counts.
I think Frankie's going to be positive, but he did give us, just to give us sets before, he gave us that picture.
Oh, wow.
So maybe Frankie's not as positive as we'd like, but here's the update from Frankie Peppers after the Philly series.
Gentlemen, Frankie Peppers, how you doing? Not doing too good. I think we all know why. I think you've probably just spent the last hour talking about why, so I'm not going to dawdle on it, except that I hope our MVP gets well soon. I hope that his break is only a few games. He gets his back right, and then he's right back in the lineup. So I have a plan. Last time I asked for some recipe ideas. The Mets won. The Mets were winning. They were rolling. Okay, I'm not going to say that it's the entire reason the Mets won, but, like a little Mets'd up and Frankie magic, in the food. I think it did something good for us. So, I tried the bolognese again yesterday on Saturday, and just the sauce was not enough today. So I need recipes. I need requests. Give me something. I'll make it. Anything to catch that lightning in a bottle again. Oh, okay, boys. I'll talk to you soon. Let's go, Mets. It's not over yet.
You can feel the pain in Frankie's voice there. I have another tough one. I gave him the bolognese. I got a tough recipe for him. I'll spit it right now. Frankie, try give me a carbonara.
Whoa.
Tough one. The Mets need something here.
All right.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down on Frankie.
I'll bail him out. I'll give you an easy one, Frankie. Little meatball parm.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
all right, so Frankie, you got your homework. The rest of you guys, everyone, good vibes. Maybe flip the pillows on your bed. Maybe flip your comforter, do it upside down. Do something, just switch it up because the Mets need a little bit of a jolt right now. We need it badly, and we need it soon.
Super soon. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching this episode of the Mets'd Up Podcast. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd Up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mets'd Up Podcast over there if you want to see the video version of this. And if you are listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. You can follow James on Twitter at
James_Shiano.
I'm Draft Nick Mark with a C. We will catch you guys after the Washington Nationals series. If you're at the ballpark, come say what's up to us. We might be doing something special one of these nights this week.
Yep.
So we'll give you a preview if you meet us.
Keep an eye. Yeah. Keep an eye on Twitter and Instagram for us. We might be doing some fun stuff.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. See you next time. Let's fucking go Mets.